If you're like me and had everything cancelled because of the coronavirus, here are a few different book series you can read during your now never-ending free time. And just so you know, all of these are fully published and completed series, so you don't have to wait for another book to come out and you can just marathon through them all. First, we have my all-time favorite series, Sits of Crows. This is a YA fantasy duology, which means that there's two books, the second book being Crooked Kingdom, and it follows a team of 6 criminals who have to complete an impossible heist. Sits of Crows is also a spin-off to the Air Trilogy, which is these 3 books, or these 3, I have multiple editions. You don't have to read them before reading Sits of Crows, but I do recommend them. They're really good, and they're becoming a Netflix series soon. Next, I recommend the Illuminae Files. This is a hilarious YA sci-fi series that you have to read. Also, what's really interesting about it is it's told through a bunch of secure documents, so it's a really unique and interesting reading experience. Finally, we have the book of the Air Trilogy, which starts with The Cruel Prince. The Cruel Prince follows a mortal girl who has grown up in the land of fairy and must decide what she's willing to do to earn her place. Okay, I'm running out of time, so like for a part 2!
Today's book is one I just finished. It's called Recipe for a Perfect Wife. It's a novel by Karma Brown. Yep, those are skull and crossbones. It says January 2020, but it's actually already out and already for sale. I really like the cover, how it looks like it's beat up here. That plays into the story a little bit. The story goes back and forth between Alice, who's in 2018, and Nellie, who starts in 1955. There are recipes included, and nearly every chapter of the book starts with a quote from an old book, this one from 1910. Alice moves into this old house that she doesn't really like that much, and she finds out that it actually was Nellie's house when she finds Nellie's old cookbook that has notes in it and letters that she wrote to her mother and never sent. There's some mystery and a lot of girl power in this one. I really liked it.
And we recommend you some classics that you will actually enjoy. So first off, we've got Sons and Lovers by D.H. Lawrence. It follows our protagonist Paul and his relationship with 2 women in his life, as well as his mother. So it's about family, it's about sexuality, it's about coming of age. And it's not like other classics, like the language in this is super easy to read, you won't get confused, and I promise you'll have a good time. I know this one has been overdone to death, but Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte is a gothic romance classic. It's so, so beautiful. Just listen to this quote. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same. Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. Everyone did this book dirty. It's only 100 pages. What can you lose? It's actually good. Read it. Literally any of the Sherlock Holmes novels by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. You can open these up to any page, any chapter, and just read one story at a time in a random order. They're so good. You all know who Sherlock Holmes is. Okay, so basically I ran out of time, but I still have a bunch more recommendations. Let me know if you want about to.
New book talk tag, show me a book you haven't seen on TikTok. 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 And a book you haven't seen on TikTok.
So you like Timothée Chalamet. Perhaps you also like to read. Well, today is your lucky day. Here's 7 Timothy book recommendations that just make sense. If you liked Call Me By Your Name by an author we won't mention, then consider reading They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This is a heartfelt young adult novel with authentic representation. Next, we have his most recent book-to-movie adaptations. We have Little Women, which is an early feminist text and is wonderful, and we have Dune, which is a classic sci-fi, but be warned, it's very, very dense. We have a non-fiction text that Timmy recommended on his Twitter. I've read this for school, and it's actually pretty good. It explains why he's not on social media. Lastly, we have the Book of Disquiet by Fernando Pessoa, which is a book he recommended to a fan, and honestly, of course, you would read existentialist poetry.